Rev up your engines!
Alex Zell says, Scotty, show us your car collection. Well, it wouldn't be much of a collection because I don't collect cars. I fix them for other people. I'm really into motorcycles myself, but I don't collect them either. It's kind of a weird thing collecting vehicles. You know, guys like Jay Leno, it's kind of weird. You know, they got all these bunches of vehicles, but that's kind of a waste of space, really. You know, you can only drive one thing at a time. You know, I'm not a museum. I've got a Triumph Thruxton motorcycle now, and I love it. It's the most beautiful motorcycle I've had, and it's not the fastest. I mean, it only goes like 120 miles an hour. It's not the fastest I ever had. It's the most solid, most beautiful looking one. And with cars, to me, they're transportation. And, you know, I'm using my 94 Celica for a work car. And my wife's got a Lexus, but I only paid $3,000 for that when it had 60,000 miles. I'm not a collector of cars. You know, I work on other people's cars, and I appreciate them when they bring their classics here, and I work on them for them and say, oh, nice car, I have fun driving it around. But owning them, that's not something I'm interested in. You can't take it with you. Just remember that. I'm getting older. And when you're gone, you take with you what you came in on the earth with. Nothing but yourself. Cap T on SM says, what do you think of the new Jags? Well, not much, but I didn't think much of the old Jags either. Now realize, Jaguars were actually excellent cars, state-of-the-art. When we go back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, I mean, they were putting some state-of-the-art stuff in, and they were true sports cars. They raced them in races. But, you know, since the 60s, their quality is just so... And now Jaguar's owned by that Indian company, Tata. And those things aren't even that popular in India. And they own Jaguar now. I would not waste my money on a Jag. I mean, if you really have to get a Jaguar, what you do is buy one that's low mileage, that's older. The resale value is nothing on those things. And if you want to, get it cheap. And then as it ages and you find out it falls apart, you don't have that much money to lose. Or like some guys, they'll get a really old one and they'll throw the engine away and they'll put in a Chevy V8 engine. And you might try that if you really want to get it. But I wouldn't buy a new one. Waste of money. 7, if he asks, why isn't Alfa Romeo more popular in the States? Because they're Italian cars, they fall apart. Now, they used to sell them in the United States decades ago. I had customers with them, and I used to work on a lot of sports cars. And I worked on a lot of them, and they were always breaking down. Then the Italian technology is not made to last. It's like fast, but no last. And the parts were super expensive. Well, of course, now they're selling them again because Fiat, who owns Alfa Romeo, bought Chrysler, and they're trying to import all their cars and sell them over here. But I see no reason to buy one unless you're ultra wealthy and you want to say you got an Alfa Romeo sports car for tons less. You can get a Mazda Miata. And yeah, it's not as fast, but it handles quite well. And it doesn't break, and it goes forever and forever. And look at the Italian car. It costs a fortune. You know that thing is going to break down. Jack07 says, Scotty, what do you think about a Golf 4 1.9 TDI? I'm not a Volkswagen fan. Since they stopped making the Beetles, the air-cooled Beetles from the 60s and the 70s, when they stopped making those, their quality kind of went... I have customers with ones that have those turbo diesel engines, and they could run a long time. Now, Volkswagen did cheat with that emissions thing, made them so that they had a lot more power and got better gas mileage, but they were cheating on the emissions, and then when you got them inspected, the computer would know it was being inspected, so then it would go to the other software where it didn't get as much power and didn't get the same gas mileage, but it would pass the emissions. Well, they got caught on that, so it's a no-no on them, but those things can actually last quite some time, the diesels. I don't mind driving one of those little bitty diesels. They are pretty well made, I do have to admit it. Squanch Cake says, Scotty, how reliable is the Tonawanda Chevy 454 from 1991? Okay, well, I'm originally from Niagara Falls. I knew a lot of guys in Tonawanda. There are a lot of Polish Americans living there. All the guys I knew were Polish Americans. Those are really good engines. They're still making engines in Tonawanda for GM. Those 454s are good, solid engines. They make good engines back then. In that same plant, they made dive bombers in World War II. So they were, they made some pretty quality stuff there in Tonawanda. The problem is, most of that stuff's all gone. The last time I went back to visit my mother there, and I drove by, it's on the waterfront, going to Buffalo, between Niagara Falls and Buffalo. All these factories were gone, and they leveled them all, and they made these beautiful parks on the waterfront where kids are flying kites kites and stuff. So the jobs, a lot of them aren't there anymore, but they did make the waterfront look nice. I'll give them that. Jenna Brown says, what's the easiest way to change a flywheel on a 1996 Chevy S10? Well, the easiest way is you pull the transmission off. Once you get the transmission off, then there's the flywheel on the engine, and you can unbolt it and put another one on. Pulling the engine is a harder job. It just is. They weigh more. It's more bull work involved. Anytime you need to do any work on the back of the engine, it's easier to pull the transmission off than it is to pull the engine off, especially on those older things. Those older rear-wheel drive ones are pretty easy to get those trannies off. It's not that big of a deal.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.